Yeah, the theater language, the HIV positive, that diagnosed in 1996. Community siphethe kakubi thina bantu ba HIV positive.
It was necessary to start something like the ALP in the early 1990s in South Africa because of the rising tide of HIV, and together with the rising tide of HIV, the rising tide of injustice. Unjust dismissals, unjust refusals to employ, discrimination in housing, refusal to offer basic health care. So we started the AIDS Law Project at the Centre for Applied Legal Studies at WITS, and we were immediately flooded with complaints and with requests for help. Previously, I individually had dealt with those, but the creation of the ALP helped me to get an organizational backing behind me as well. The ALP, its mission was against stigma and injustice, but also against ignorance. There was a lot that we didn't know, and there was a lot of fear and ignorance in place of knowledge. So the ALP, the Charter of Rights on AIDS and HIV, they were all designed to give people knowledge, secure knowledge that HIV couldn't be transmitted easily. By that stage, when the ALP had been founded, the big studies from the San Francisco General Hospital had established that casual transmission of HIV was virtually impossible. So we sought to spread that information to counter the terrible fear and ignorance and disinformation.
The AIDS Law Project, because it was successful and because it had an impact, was changing the environment around HIV as well. So by kind of 2007, 2008, 2009, TAC had won its big victories. People were beginning to be put onto antiretroviral treatment, have access to antiretroviral treatment. The Treatment Action Campaign was co-founded by the AIDS Law Project, by Zaki Ahmad, by myself, by a bunch of other people. And for a number of years, 1999, 2000, really through to 2003, 2004, almost the whole agenda of the AIDS Law Project was redefined around the TAC and around the TAC's agenda. Because as far as I was concerned, as the leader of the ALP, the treatment agenda, saving lives, reducing the price of medicines, overcoming AIDS denialism was the critical thing that we had to advance.
As we were fighting and dealing with issues regarding HIV, including tackling private sector and medical schemes with regard to coverage for ARVs, more and more we were being drawn into broader battles around the right to health. Around 2008, 2009, which then led to us deciding to shift and make it clear that our shift is not solely on AIDS-related work any longer, but it is AIDS-related work within a bigger context in which we were going to we would be dealing with broader health and education and food battles.
We decided was that we have to look at the health system as a whole. That's why we called it Section 27, after Section 27 of the Constitution. But we also wanted to take the formula that the AIDS Law Project had used successfully, law, social mobilization, media, and so on. And because it had been successful with AIDS, we thought, okay, let's see if we can make it work around the right to basic education.
In the beginning of Section 27, we actually had to fight for the name Section 27, because when we went to register it at the company registrar, we were told no, that we could not have that name because that name belonged to the government. And the reason they said that is because indeed it referred to a provision of the Constitution. Of course, we then prepared a court application in order to challenge that decision. And in some ways that really set the tone for Section 27. We were ready to fight. We were ready to do the right thing. And of course, we won that court case, as we have won many of our cases.
cases that have had really huge systemic impact on people across the country. Cases like the Limpopo textbook case that brought textbooks to the province. Cases like the National School Nutrition Program, where we worked with Equal Education and EELC and school governing bodies in Limpopo to restart the school nutrition program after it had stopped with COVID, and that brought meals to more than 9 million learners every day. Cases like the Komape case, where we represented the family in a damages claim after Michael Komape fell into and drowned in a pit toilet. And that's obviously had a huge impact on the family itself, but has also led to the rollout of a plan to improve access to safe sanitation in schools across the province. I think Section 27's biggest strength is its people. It always has been. We have an exceptionally talented, skilled and dedicated group of people, whether they are attorneys or communicators or paralegals or administrators or researchers or community mobilizers, who are all completely dedicated to the mission of the organization, which is to ensure the realization of health and education rights. The fact that we work in partnership, that Section 27 never works by itself, and that we make sure that we are really focusing on the issues that most affect people and where the Constitution and constitutional rights can be a catalyst for improving people's lives and ensuring social justice.